Here we are in the Virtual World Education Consortium Eduverse, where I am interviewing Delia Lake, our wonderful builder, and I'll let Delia tell us a bit about what she does and enjoys in Second Life. Delia?
Thank you, Val. Thank you. Well, my RL avatar, Linda Morris Kelly, is a sustainability professional, an enterprise ecologist, and an author. But I, Delia Lake, entered SL in 2006. Hard to believe it's that long. And I came out of curiosity. I had read something in the New York Times, and at the time my son was doing a little bit of game programming, and I didn't really understand it. I thought, oh, I'll just see what this is like. Little did I know that all these years later, I would still be here. I intended to stay maybe, I don't know, 2 weeks at the most, just figuring it out. But I went to one of the NASA space builds, and I was walking around before I had any animation for walking on what I was told was way, way up in space on a little tiny platform. And I was captivated by the scenery. At the same time, I had this visceral terror that I was going to fall off the edge down thousands, millions of miles and kill myself. So I thought, this is more than just something to have as a curiosity. And so I wanted to know more about what this was and how it would be. It wasn't very long after that I found Better World Island and the Center for Water Studies. And I've been working in sustainability and environmental ecosystems and habitats for a long time in the solid world, in the physical world as opposed to the virtual world. So when I saw this, I was, oh my goodness, it's got the name, but it doesn't, all it has is buildings. So I became the curator and builder for that. And I put whole undersea habitats with marine life. I put pond life. I put forest and mountains all in a tiny, tiny space. So for a few years there, I was doing tours and education and loved it. Absolutely loved it. Then I got a little space on the larger island and I built out a habitat of representing the wild coast of South Africa. And I chose that because we had just had one of the UN conferences and the corollary in Second Life. And I was thinking about the climate change and the mismatch in migration. And I thought, well, how's the best way to show that? And the best way to show it or talk about it was to actually show it. So that was the second build I did there. I got an opportunity to do one more region attached to Better World, and that was Melara Terra, and did a prairie build. So I had 3 sections of this, and it was prairie past. So that was a section of the region that had indigenous people and how people lived before the permanent built environment. Then I had a section that was prairie where farming had really abused the land, so that was a dust bowl. And then the third section was what you could do with prairie and regenerative farming. And I used that for tours and education for quite a while also. One of the things that struck me particularly, though, was having a tour of people who, as you know, are from all around the solid world, different locations, different experiences, different languages. And so I'd ask people, where do you think this is? Now, in my mind, I am thinking the um, prairie past is the western plains of the United States and Canada. What I got back was, this is Finland, this is Ukraine, this is Chile, this is Australia. And that again shifted how I worked with the habitats and with giving tours and the opportunity for people to learn through immersive experience, because that builds memories, it builds muscle memories, it builds uh, mind memories. Even though it's not physical, it's real. And after a few months of remembering, people feel like they actually did that. They had that experience. And I've used that to inform all the builds I've done since. So when I had the opportunity to do the 8 builds that I have on the Abyss Observatory, I've done that so people can go either along the shore or along swim, scuba, snorkel undersea. But it goes from tropical as you progress to temperate, to north temperate, to subarctic, both undersea and along the coast. And have put in each of those locations things that suggest. It's enough to suggest those habitats. There's no possible way in Second Life to have the entirety of any solid world ecosystem. But what are the key pieces? What are the prey and predators? What are the keystone species without which the entire ecosystem would collapse? To explore. And I try to also put in each little location something that would surprise people. Something that, if you didn't pay attention, you would miss. Something that is cute or sweet or makes sounds, or because that trains us then to observe differently and to engage differently with the natural habitats in the physical world. So that's my process here. And I have done that again here in on the Eduverse Welcome region as well. Uh, to add to that, one of the things that I have done here is, because I was working as a consultant here, and also Gentle Heron was working here as a consultant, and I thought about experiences that I have had with people at Virtual Ability. And so I reached out to a couple of people who I knew were deaf and hard of hearing, because I wanted to make habitats that were pleasing and engaging for people who wouldn't be able to hear the sounds, or even people who wouldn't be able to see all the sights. So that has added a little bit to what I have done in each of the builds here on Eduverse. Uh, then This one, unlike other builds, started with a theme. And the theme was that Actuality had put out 4 larch trees on the hill just behind you. And it turned out that he and I both liked larch trees a lot. But I couldn't just do large trees. So we have here as the hub of the ecosystems, we have 4 different larch habitats because larches are northern hemisphere trees that are found around the globe in the solid world. So we have down to my left, we have a North American riparian. So it's wetlands, it's river and marsh area that has larch trees. If you go over on the other side of the river and you walk up the hill, you will find a larch habitat that is Eastern European in flavor. So it is an alpine Carpathian mountain type of larch habitat. If you come back here and you walk up the hill behind you, you will find a Northwest Pacific Rocky Mountain, Cascades Mountain from the northern part of California up through Canada, a different kind of a larch habitat. And then walking way down to the other corner of this region, you'll find more larch trees, but in an entirely different larch habitat. And that one is Siberian tundra. And I will do an entire tour of this area soon. But the Siberian tundra is really a under-recognized and key area because larch trees are fairly shallow in roots, but they spread their roots out and they anchor soil. And the tundra is now melting because the Arctic around the globe has been so much warmer than it has ever been any time. So I do want to publicize that particularly. That's a very key piece of the environmental ecosystems for the globe. Then, of course, this is an island, so it had to have beach. So there are a couple of areas here that I added some beach. People can swim. If we get boats that are accessible, that are public boats, we can put some boats out. But I wanted to have this as a set of habitats that complemented the wonderful activities that people already have here. Like the library is a great place, a great resource. But if people get something here and they want to go sit and read, they go sit on a hill, sit on a rock and read all of the things that the librarians have to offer. So that's some of the process and some of the ways that I have done this to make every single habitat that I build here in Second Life have be enjoyable, be inviting and attractive, and have people just soothing and want to be there, but also have educational and interesting aspects to them. Well, I should qualify that. There is one that I would say probably is not enjoyable, and that's part of the science circle, and it is a combination because they go together. Fire maelstrom, drought and flood build, and it's on a platform, and We have done, I think, 3 presentations up there because, again, it's a very critical part of the climate change and what's happening to the ecosystems. And we will do more presentations up there. So I would be glad to give anybody landmarks. And as I am in these spaces frequently, if you're going to come and visit, you want to see any of them, and I happen to be around, ping me. I'll come join you.